Last year, my trip to London was a nightmare. I wish that I could reverse time and never take a trip there, or at the very least erase my remembrance of that trip. My trip begins with happiness and ends with the darkness of sorrow. When I came to London, I was staying in a hotel. I moved from the hotel to my friend's place after she invited me over. The house was very old and had a history she didn't tell me about. The house was preserved only through her praying. In short, the house was haunted. The house consisted of 3 floors, in which the bathroom was located on the first floor. My friend and I were staying on the second floor, where she used to pray a lot. I never knew she was that religious because I never bothered with any of that stuff. As night approached, and it was time to sleep, my friend and I stayed in the same room. I awoke around 2:30 a.m. to use the restroom. So I proceeded to the first floor alone and used the washroom, but when I came back, I wasn't alone. I could feel the presence of something different in the room. We turned on the lights only to find nothing, so I tried going back to sleep. I could feel the breath of someone which I thought was my imagination, but in reality, it wasn't. At 6 a.m., she woke up and started praying, but I was asleep as usual. I was lazy. I woke up to find that my hands and feet both were swelling, but not with normal swelling. They were swelled as bees had just stung them. I wasn't able to move that day. We had planned to go shopping, but I wasn't able to, so she went shopping with her boyfriend and told me that night she planned to stay with him. I was alone at this scary old house with her housekeeper Sophia. She wasn't that friendly, so I didn't call her much. I was watching TV when the electricity went completely out, so I tried calling for Sophia to get an emergency light, but no response. I assumed she was sleeping, so I waited for the electricity to come back on, but then suddenly I heard some sounds from the kitchen like Sophia was working or washing dishes. I got up only to feel a cool breeze run right down my spine like someone was blowing on it. I was a bit frightened but realized that the windows were open, so again I called Sophia, but she didn't reply. I picked up the stick I was using to stand, because my feet were swelled so badly, and proceeded towards the window when suddenly, I saw a rotten heart being stabbed by some kids outside. I was paranoid and shocked. I didn't say anything. I just shut the window and headed towards the bed. I was thirsty. I wanted to drink water, but the jug was empty, and I was too afraid to go into the kitchen. I tried to call Sophia for that, but still no reply. I made myself calm so I wouldn't panic. It was the worst nightmare that could ever happen to me. Still, I had to get some water. I started walking towards the kitchen by the moonlight. I was having a panic attack going in the kitchen. When I was in the kitchen pouring water into the jug, I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. I thought to myself, those kids are now in my place. I was scared. I ran to search for my phone and found it. I was terrified. I was about to call my friend. It was dark. I could barely breathe. I was scared and alone. I thought to myself, a thief or those kids are now going to kill me. I was shaking and trying to call my friend, but I was smacked by something stronger than me and fainted instantly. I woke up and called my friend to come back so we can talk. She came home at 4 a.m. and was tired. I didn't want to disturb her, so I said nothing. As usual, she was praying in the morning before she left for work. It was Monday, so she was also doing a part-time job. The next day, I could walk a bit, so I explored the house's final floor, and then the first floor, where I thought I was hallucinating the whole scenario. That night was dreadful for me. I saw a girl playing with the hair on the first floor. Her feet and hands were also swollen like mine, but she was cuffed and tied up with heavy chains. I asked her, "Who are you? Who tied you up like that?" But she wasn't answering, and as she turned her head, those bright blue eyes turned black with blood dripping from them. There was a mirror behind me that suddenly shattered, and the girl whose hands were in the chains and cuffs were now like snakes. and they wrapped around me with a big piece of the broken mirror. I was screaming and shouting, but no one was listening. She cut her wrist, and the blood was coming towards me. I was scared. I wasn't able to shout, and my heart rate was out of control. I felt like I was going to die, and I fainted again. I woke up, and it was a month later. I asked my friend what had happened. She told me I had been possessed, and the house was haunted. She said, "Thanks to God, you were saved, unlike many other people who have died in that house." It was only preserved by my friend's prayers, and she apologized that she left me alone with only the housekeepers in it. See, the house was banned from anyone living in it. The owner had sold the property at a very low price, and no one wanted to buy it until she did, and then realized it was a big mistake. After the attacks in Germany, a family lived there, and the little girl I saw on the floor was raped and murdered. She was poisoned and then was brutally killed by her family because she was adopted. When she was killed, her heart was stabbed by her siblings. I asked my friend, "Is she gone?" She said, "Yes." I wonder why the girl did that to me. I will never forget any moment from that day. Thanks for watching this video brought to you by Creepy Coverage. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let us know your reactions or thoughts in the comments section below. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.